Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Welcome to my channel. If you are new, I am so excited. Today I am doing my January reading wrap up. I have quite a few books here, and honestly I read a ton of books from the library, so yay for me. That is working very well in my favor. One of my reading goals, if you know, was to stop buying so many books, read it from the library first, then buy it if I really loved it. And honestly, I feel like I'm doing a really good job of that. Let's go ahead and get started on the books. The ones that I don't own physically will be on the screen here, probably right above little Tom's head. And yeah, so the first book, also this is in order. I just went on my story graph. If you're not following me, my link is down below. And I got them all in order. So the first book that I read was If He Had Been With Me by Laura Nolan, or Nowlin, I'm not sure how to say her last name. I ended up rating this book 4 stars. I really enjoyed it. It had me bawling my eyes out at the end. I don't know, you're gonna notice a trend in my January reads that, like, apparently I was in a very YA cry all month mood for whatever reason. Anyways, this book follows Autumn and Finn. They are basically like childhood best friends. But they end up growing apart, and Autumn gets a boyfriend named Jamie in high school, and Finn becomes like this super popular kid. He also starts dating as well. They kind of lose touch, but they both still have feelings for each other. Towards the end of the book, I don't want to give spoilers away, it kind of prefaces this in the book though, how it's going to end, but oh my gosh, it ripped my heart out. Yeah, I cannot with that book. It's so sad. I loved it, but I don't know if I want to buy it because it made me so sad. But I know that she has her new book out. I think it actually just came out yesterday, which I don't know what exactly it is, if it's like a sequel or a prequel type of thing. But you know what? Let me look. So the new book is called If Only I Had Told Her, which from the title alone is already, I'm like crying. Let's see. Okay, so this is basically from Finn's perspective. I don't know, guys, like I want to read it so bad, but also like I'm so scared. So anyways, that is the first book I read in January. I would say if you also are in a YA mood and want to cry, 100% read this book. If not, then maybe don't. The second book that I read in January, I actually own. It's Does It Hurt by H.D. Carlton. I was in I was in a dark romance mood, I guess, after the tragedy that was If He Had Been With Me. And as you can see, I tabbed quite a bit of this book. This was a ride. I tabbed and highlighted. This was quite the ride. I gave this 3.5 stars. So I did enjoy it. I didn't really know what she was doing with this, honestly. Like, I adore Haunting and Hunting Adeline. Adore those books. I liked Satan's Affair. This, I was confused. So this book follows Enzo and what's her name? Sawyer. This book follows Enzo and Sawyer. Sawyer is like a con artist. She basically like dates people and steals their personalities. Yeah. And then Enzo is just, he's kind of fine, but he's also very intense. And he's like a seaman. Anyway, seaman, that sounds wrong. He's like a person who works with sharks and stuff in the sea. And he's a man. Okay? So she tries to steal his identity, but he ends up finding out, and like they go out on a ship, some stuff happens. I have a whole vlog of me reading this, honestly, if you really want to know like more detail. I think it's spoiler free. I don't remember, but I have a whole vlog about it, and there's like some paranormal stuff here. It's just like I don't think this book knows what it wants to be. And for some people that's awesome, but for me it was fine. You guys, I don't know how I feel about this book. It was a book. whatever that book was, I decided to read A Thousand Boy Kisses by Tilly Cole, mainly because I know the next one comes out this year and I've been wanting to know what the hype is about. I also was able to get it from my library. I don't know if I didn't like that book. I don't know if it was a good idea to read that book after I had read If He Had Been With Me, but I only gave that book 3 stars. I feel like it was just sad. Like there was no, I don't know. We're following Rune and Poppy, again, childhood best friends. Rune moved right next door to Poppy from Norway, and they are like inseparable. Like they're best friends since childhood. But again, as they grow up, they end up growing apart, because Rune ends up moving back to Norway for 2 years, and during that time he and Poppy kind of have a thing going on, but Poppy just stops talking to him out of nowhere. So when he moves back, it's very awkward. They don't talk, whatever. It turns out Poppy stopped talking to him to essentially save him from hurt, because she is, I don't want to spoil it, she's going through something and it's just sad. Like, what, why, it's just really sad. Definitely gave me the Notebook vibes, but for YA. So yeah, I gave that book 3 stars. I think I was just kind of over it at that point, which sounds so bad. But I mean, 3 stars isn't bad. I think, again, I was just kind of over the whole YA sad trope phase thing I was going through. So yeah. The next book that I read is The 7-Year Slit by Ashley Poston. I freaking adored this book. This was a 5-star book. Absolutely love it. I don't have it on me and I want to buy it now because I loved it that much. I read it from the library. All the ones that I'm not showing, like I said, are from the library. And I've obviously turned them in and stuff already. I loved this book so much. It's a contemporary romance with a time traveling aspect. There's a lot of like just I don't know, I just love it so much. If you like romance and you want to, it's like a romance I've never read before. Basically, this girl, I don't remember her name, inherits her aunt's apartment and she is living there. She's moving her stuff in, and one day she walks in and a guy is there and she's like, oh my god, why are you in my apartment? Like, get out, I don't know you. Like, and he's like, no, your aunt said I could stay here. It turns out he's 7 years in the past and she's 7 years in the future. So the apartment is kind of weird in the fact that it's not always, she doesn't always see him when she comes in, so it's very like finicky when she'll see him versus when he's not there. They end up obviously budding a romance, and it's I adore this book. I highly recommend you read it. It's so good. I have it on my wish list. I will be buying it. Okay, the next book I read was First Fly Wins. This was a book of the month choice. I rated this 3.5 stars, and I'm gonna be really honest with you guys. I know I enjoyed my time with this one, but I can't tell you what it's about. So yeah, I do remember reading it and thinking this was very different from any thriller that I've read before, so that was good. But the fact that I genuinely do not remember what this book is about is really honestly saying something. So maybe 3.5 stars was too high. I don't know. I would recommend you read it if you like thrillers, because again, it was different. I do remember thinking this is different than any other thriller I've read, but I really don't know what it was about. So we're gonna move on. However, the thriller that I read after First Fly Wins was The Quiet Tenant by Clemence. I can't even say the last name. I loved this book. This was a 4.75 stars, which is huge for a thriller. We're basically following a girl who's been kidnapped and stored in a shed, and she ends up convincing the guy that kidnapped her to move her into his house. And it is twisty, it is crazy. I loved this thriller. It was so good. Yeah, wow, it was really good. So I highly recommend. I know I didn't do an amazing job. I'm not really good at explaining thrillers because I really try not to give away the plot, like the spoiler, and I feel like with thrillers it's so easy when you're explaining the plot to give that away if you give too much detail. So essentially you're following different perspectives. You're following the girl that, or the woman that's been kidnapped, you're following the guy that kidnapped her, and you're following his daughter. So, and then also a woman who lives in the same town as this guy. So that's all I'm gonna say. I really enjoyed it. It's a very quick read. If you are in the mood for a thriller, highly recommend. Okay, the book after that I read was The Heiress by Rachel Hawkins. This was actually our January Host for Prose book club pick. So if you are not aware, myself, Vanessa from Read with Dr. B, and Nikki from Hello Nikki Novels have a book club called Host for Prose, and we just launched it in January. Our first pick was The Heiress by Rachel Hawkins, and our February picks are A River Enchanted and A Fire Endless by Rebecca Ross. So everyone is welcome to join. We read all types of different books, so yeah. But anyways, little plug there for the book club. But we read The Heiress by Rachel Hawkins in January. I've been saying that way too much, but that's what we read for January. We did our whole book club live discussion, and honestly I gave that a 3.75 when I finished it, and I think I'm going to stick with that rating because I genuinely enjoyed that book. I thought it was really good. The only thing that I didn't like was I felt like none of the characters were very lovable, and it is family drama. You're basically following the son of this, it gave like Evelyn Hugo vibes, which I really enjoyed. So we have Ruby, our main female character, who is now, while you're following the story, passed away, and she left a huge inheritance and all of her stuff to her son Camden, who wants absolutely nothing to do with the rest of his family because they're all just kind of money grabbers, money hungry. They don't care about him, they just want all of Ruby's stuff. But he has to figure out what to do with the estate. He also is married to a girl, Jules, who is kind of sketchy too. But you're following all these different perspectives. It also has a bunch of mixed media in it, which is very interesting. I think in thrillers I really enjoy that. You have letters from Ruby, you've got newspaper things. She was an heiress. She had a ton of marriages and all of them somehow ended up being killed. I can't really give much away, but it was really good. It was very good. I liked it a lot. It was good. After The Heiress, I read my very first 6-star read of the year. I can't recommend this book enough. The Nightingale by Kristen Hanna. I tabbed the crap out of this. I don't know if you can see that. This book was fan-freaking-tastic. Fantastic. Last year I read The Great Alone with Vanessa and loved that book. This book I think I loved even more. This book was so incredible. You're following a family during World War II, and the main character in here is just such a badass. Please go read this book if you haven't already. Even if you don't like historical fiction, this is a historical fiction book, but it is so incredible. I went on an entire World War II binge after this. Like, I started watching World War II everything, looking up World War II books. Like, I love this book so much. Please go read this. Isabel is the best character in the entire world. Yeah, it's amazing. Also, the audio is incredible because the audiobook is amazing because the woman who narrates it also speaks French. There's some French phrases in this book and she speaks them perfectly. I don't know if she is French, but oh my god, perfection. This was a 6-star read. I recommend this book to literally everyone. After that, I did read Interesting Facts About Space by Emily Austen. I really enjoyed this book. I gave it a 4.75. Sorry, I was looking at my notes. This is in my book of the month reading vlog if you're interested to know a little bit more in depth. But we are following Enid. I always want to say Eden. Enid, who is neurodivergent. She's also half deaf. She's just trying to figure out life. Honestly, this gives very much Eleanor Oliphant vibes. So if you enjoyed the writing style of Eleanor Oliphant, is completely fine. I just had to make sure that that was the right title. I think you would really enjoy this. I have not read Emily Austen's other book, Everyone in This Room Will Someday Be Dead, I think, but I have it on hold at the library because I love this. I didn't tab it, but I highlighted this book. So this book is very special to me. I related a lot to the main character, not in the fact that she was neurodivergent or half deaf, but just she was also dealing with family issues, and I don't know, I just really enjoyed this book. So I'm very happy I picked this one up from Book of the Month. If you are also interested in picking up this book from Book of the Month, I always have my link down below. You can get your first book for $5. Little plug there as well. You know, if not, no worries. I read a 5-star fantasy, which was completely unexpected. This was incredible. I'm obsessed. I cannot wait to read the next one. I read How Does It Feel by Janine O'Reilly. You guys, I have an entire video just for this book that I did because I loved it so much. It was so surprising. I'm obsessed. I cannot wait for the next one to come out. If you are on the fence about reading this book, go read it. Ugh, it's so good. It's so freaking good. I can't even say more than what I've already said in my reading vlog. So if you want to go watch that, it's just a little book review video I did. It's incredible. It's not the video. Well, I think the video is pretty great, but the book is incredible. So yeah, highly recommend. Last book that I read I've already unhauled because I gave it 2 stars, and unfortunately that was The Fury by Alex Michaelides. It just didn't hit with me. I feel like this trope has been done before. We're on a Greek island, there's drama about who killed who, and it wasn't very good. I'm so sorry. I did not enjoy this book. It was terrible. I trudged through this one. Yeah. What more is there to say? You've got a group of friends who you hate all of them because they're so unlikable and they all hate each other. You've got a dead person and you're all on an island, like a secluded island. Who killed who, blah blah blah, nobody cares. Okay, anyways. Yeah, that book has been unhauled. I put it on my Pango and somebody bought it, thank God, because I wanted that book out. Goodbye. Okay, but that is my reading wrap up for January. So yeah, sorry if you enjoyed any of the books that I did not enjoy, but you know, reading is subjective and that is totally fine. We're all entitled to our own opinions when it comes to books. Why am I even talking about this? Obviously, read what you want to read, don't read what you don't want to read, yada yada. So okay, well, I will see you guys in the next video. Yeah, thank you for watching. Subscribe if you haven't already, and make sure you give this video a thumbs up. Bye guys.